Alright, I literally can make a Rob Liefeld video every single night of the week. But we have something, I guess took people by storm from the Hollywood Reporter today. And by storm, I mean it's just Rob Liefeld news we did not see coming. And who's Rob Liefeld? Rob Liefeld essentially is the a-hole of the American comic book industry. He was an a-hole back then, all the way back in the days of Hulk and Dove. One of his first assignments, drama. His first book, his first major book, drama. And that drama continues to this day. Now, he's attributed getting people excited for comic books, hyping up comic books. Early on in his 20s, putting out a message that we're going to do everything, and I think I might even be directly quoting him with that Hero Illustrated VHS conversation or Hero TV, where he said, we're going to do everything we can to get comic books in front of people. It was a part of a movement. It's the 90s movement, and the best way to define that movement was big ideas, teenage audience, speculator boom. So you had people reading books for the first time and collecting books for the first time. No one really talks about how much there was a high level of readership. Look. People may have went into the comic shop to buy Spawn because they saw Spawn in Spencer's or something, and they thought Spawn looked cool, but they bought those books and they read them. And there's a whole generation of people, just for example, where Spawn is the only comic book they read. And at one time, people collected Rob Liefeld comics, and they would get those early issues. But what Rob Liefeld became, he became a guy that never finished series, constantly rebooted his series, and overall, he's a disappointment machine. Now, that doesn't mean he has a podcast. His podcast is insightful at times, it's truthful at times, but it's also revisionist. He is trying to rewrite his very own history, just so because he thinks he's going to win this war. And what's the Rob Liefeld war? And here we go, right? The Rob Liefeld war is him blocking any detractor of his, just the way how his worldview. So it's Rob Liefeld's worldview on social media. You will be blocked immediately if you detract from his worldview. If you're not in lockstep, and he's got, he's got minions. He's got this weird guy, Terry LaSalle, that is literally. He's just a weird. He's just one of those weirdos. He's just a weird comic book guy. So what's the big news? And we're getting into fake enthusiasm here. A lot of you are already guilty. Rob Liefeld comes back to Youngblood, Image Comics, next year. Now, Rob Liefeld previously just retired from making comic books. I believe he did say only to continue his ideas and his visions and put a final bow. I think that also might be a direct quote, but a final, a bow on his ideas and sending them off. Because he wants to end some of his characters. And that's his right. That's a cool thing to do. But at the same time, look, because we read comics on this channel. We read a lot of the comic books. More comic books than I bring to you. Trust me. How much do you want to doubt that this Youngblood, this new Youngblood, is going to be a time jump? There's going to be a character that was a hero, that is a villain. Someone's going to come from the future, and it's going to be some future war. Which he teased that all the way back to Nitrogen. He's Nitrogen, Omni, and Bad Blood or Last Blood, whatever not even crowdfunded. It's a whatnot comic book. And his crowdfunding, he's got 2 campaigns that are unfulfilled. Read those comments. Roughly $45,000 of pre-sales that he has yet to ship. He's printed books, given those brigade books out at conventions. It's highly contentious that people actually got fulfillment for 2 of his crowdfunding campaigns. So that's what I mean. He's endless drama. The version of Youngblood that we want to see the continuation of is Youngblood Volume 2. Eric Stevenson and Roger Cruz. That's also the Youngblood that crosses over with X-Force. And that's not even his X-Force at the time. So he's almost like removed from Youngblood, removed from X-Force. The two properties cross over, and then we just get Rob Liefeld covers, which is cool. Like, you know, like that's kind of what you would want. But his involvement with character arcs, he's from a generation where there were arcs, but they really weren't. The character arc generation is the Joe Quesada generation, where everything was designed to be a trade paperback, and you kind of see why Joe Quesada pushed Rob Liefeld out of Marvel comic books at the time, because Rob Liefeld couldn't produce the type of books that were editorial mandated at the time for Marvel comic books. But it's all of this stuff. But we're getting this fake enthusiasm, this fakeness of people excited that he's like returning home. AKAPADers, Rob Liefeld has already returned home. He already took Youngblood back to Image. I think he's done it twice already. This is going to be Youngblood Volume 6 or 7. So think about that. His previous incarnations were people that he gave the rights to do their own thing, and it's like Youngblood, and they're doing social media and just like weird stuff. There's a lot of weirdness with this Rob Liefeld situation. I'm not excited for it. What I'm excited for is to get some of those old Rob Liefeld issues, reading them, appreciating the time that they were made in. And yes, some of them are masterpieces. He is one hell of an illustrator. I always loved his style. I love his character design. And I love some of his story direction, but he's not an arc guy. You can't get one arc out of Rob Liefeld. What you get is nothing but scenes and moments, and he's okay enough to weave that together. In one of those Snake Eyes issues, I was going to do a video on this. He has a Snake Eyes fight scene, might have been issue 3, where it's relatively two poses of the whole fight. It's just two poses, and he like flips it, and he does one from this angle, one from that way, and you're just like, what is this? You know, I always felt like Rob Liefeld missed. He missed the boat in not going a little bit more of the Alex Ross route of being more of a story guy and an art director for a comic book. Look at Alex Ross's influence for Dynamite Comics. Look at Immortal Hulk. Alex Ross is he's a designer of the book, and the books have his covers, so which help to sell, but he's giving the editorial bullet points for some of these directions, and it sings. That's why some of the stuff is so good. I always felt like Rob Liefeld, that was his calling, and for some reason he insists on drawing his after Awesome Entertainment. He thought he was a regular page grinder, page artist, and it's not like he's ever done a sequence where people are like, this is magnificent paneling, this is a master class on paneling or lighting or effect or mood or ambiance or any of that. Rob Liefeld can draw amazing looking things. I feel like the ship has sailed to how amazing he can put that onto the interior pages. I feel like all his efforts should just go into covers and design work. But hey guys, that's just my opinion, and in no way am I excited for Rob Liefeld coming back to Image Comics in 2025 to bring us volume 22 of Youngblood. I'm just not.